One, two, 1, 2, 3.
Two-point basket by number 14, Cornelius Arnold.
I do that with billboards, but I don't do that with my regular old mouth trap. The regular mouth trap, so I'm shaky. My hands ain't as steady as they used to be. And I'll trip them about 2 or 3 times before I ever get one. I know it. I don't hate it.
3-point basket by number 14.
Okay, so that is some shots from my nephew's basketball game. They played in a little tournament after Christmas time, and I think they wound up finishing 3rd out of 12 teams, and they were middle of the class, middle of the group class. I guess is 1 through 7A, and I think they're like a 4A. And they placed 3rd, so they did real good, man. They're really going to be good next year, I think, because what I understand, they only got one senior that plays. So they'll all be seniors, including my nephew. So that ought to be real good next year. But they won. I think he had like 7 points. He hit 2 clutch threes and hit a free throw. I think both of the threes happened in the second half, I think. But it's kind of hard to get a video of just him when he scores. But they're pretty decent. They did a pretty good job. I enjoyed watching them. It was a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Mother Nature don't know exactly which seat she wants to take on the struggle bus this year. Last video, it was cold. I mean, it didn't get above freezing for South Alabama. That's cold. And today, a week later, it's probably in between 65 and 70 degrees. It's not even getting below freezing. So it's been a wild time. The weather past couple weeks has been really wild. But this is the second or third, might have been this. I can't remember. I know it's been at least the second consecutive day second consecutive weekend that I've been able to get down here and check my trail cameras, and I'm glad I did, because this first site down here is eating up pretty good. Whereas last week I had it set out and nobody hardly touched it. I don't think I put any corn out at this site, but corn's been eating pretty good. So let me turn y'all around and we'll see what we got. Okay, as you can see, a lot of the corn has been eaten off the cob. Still some on the ground. My assumption is that the reason there's some on the ground is because of deer. Deer will pick that whole cob up like this and chew on it, and some of it falls out of his mouth. If it's a coon or something, a possum will probably just eat the whole stinking thing. But a coon, first of all, a coon's gonna tear up in peanuts first. Peanuts are gone. Of course, that's expected. That's one of the reasons I put peanuts down here, so the coons won't eat just the corn. But since I cleaned this little place out last week, there's been more. There's more of the corn that's been eaten this week. So I'm gonna put some more out, fill up the peanuts again. And I replaced this camera. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last episode or not, but I replaced that camera. I had a camera up there, and it was called a Muddy, M-U-D-D-Y. That was the name brand of the camera, and I didn't know what kind of video it took. I got it for stationary pictures to put in different locations just for pictures, and I hadn't even tried the video out. Well, the video quality is not that great, but this one, I replaced it with this camera here, this Wild Game Innovations camera right here, and this is a good quality camera. I've had it in several places, and it's got a humongous light. That infrared light is just spot on, man. I mean, it does a really good job of lighting up a lot. So I'm interested to see what we got on that camera. All right, she's all baited up here. Let's see how many videos we got on this camera. Oh. I guarantee it's something substantial because all the bait's gone. Let's see. The battery is down to 2. If y'all can see that, the battery is down to 2 bars. 434 videos right here. There you go, 434. That's gonna take a while to go through. But that's in 1 week, y'all. That's in 1 week. All right. Y'all see what I spooked off again? Same place. I don't get it. Okay. We're down here close to the creek. All this corn that I had put out on the cob, it was eaten, but not very much of it. So what I did is I went ahead and stripped the corn that was already on the cob that was still left from last week. I just stripped it off. It only took a few minutes. And I put some fresh ears out there. And I know they're gonna eat that kernel corn quicker than they will that cob. But anyway, we'll see how that works out. There's only 58 videos. Now, week before last, there was a monster down here. And I mean, every bit of 200, 225 monster. And he was an 8 point, well, close to, I can go ahead and say a 9 point. He got a little kicker on one side. But he eat up every daggum bit of this mess down there, and then went right there and laid down. All the other deer would come up and eat, and he'd just sit there and he just laid down right there. Had him a big time, got him a gut full of corn, and went over there and laid down. But that's where I got the camera at. So, like I said, they don't have 58 videos on it this time, so there wasn't a whole lot of action down here. But there was some, so we'll see what we got. Okay, y'all, I'm back down here at the creek close to my house. I don't want to spook nothing back here. But this is where I had built the bridge that didn't work out. Concrete blocks are still here. This is a good place. I need to put another winter camera back down here. But the, yeah, I hear that frog. But the bridge, I don't know if y'all can see it right through there. That's where the bridge is now, as opposed to that's where it was. It went for a ride. Because right here is where I had the camera. Now, see the 3 notches? It's a notch, and a notch. So that's how I marked where the camera was. And it was shining right there. And it did pretty good for animals. Didn't hold me up very well, but it did pretty good for the animals. But you can tell there's tracks all down here. This is a popular watering spot, really. You want to get right down to it. I've seen a lot of of course, deer and coons, possums. But I've seen some coyote and bobcat down here getting water. And this is normal for it. It's normal depth and everything for the creek. But when it floods, you can tell it gets all up in here and all up in there. Floods all this to marsh. So I'm gonna put another camera back down here, maybe next year. It's just such a long hike back here. I've spooked deer right in there before. Coming down this hill. I'd be walking down this hill and they wouldn't know me until I got down close, and they'd be right there and they'd just be tearing them a hole through all that mess. But I just wanted to come down here and check on it, see how it is. It ain't changed hardly any. And I tell you what, once it's cold and it warms back up just a little bit, them darn ladybugs go crazy, man. Anyway, all right, this is the little site down here on the light line. I've already went ahead and put peanuts and corn out. The majority of the corn that I had on the cob hadn't been touched, but the pan was empty here. So if you got corn laying out and you got corn on the cob, they're gonna eat that stuff that's laying out quicker than they would the stuff on the cob, like you'd expect them to. I mean, but anyway, there's been a lot of tracks down here and everything since the last rain, so that'd be a fair amount of videos on this camera. Well, let's just see. Oh, because all of it was gone. I had the tray, I had the trough and the bucket, whatever it is. All right, let's see how many we got here. All right, 185 videos. 185, 81%. That means it gets a battery change and a card change. All right, 185. Of course, some of them are of me, but not all of them, I guarantee you. The majority of them are wildlife. Yep. Yeah, I just took a lot of that corn that was still on the cob, and I just picked it off of there and just left it on the ground. Huh. I hear water down there. I'm gonna go down there one of these days. We'll do a little exploring, I think, and just see what's down there. Because there's the creek. I mean, it's not hard to tell that there's a creek right there. Huh, I don't know. Alright, I got one more spot right here. And I don't bait it or anything. It's basically a trail camp. I mean, it's just an old trail that I had made through here 3 or 4 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago, whatever. And they've continued to use it. All kinds of wildlife just continue to use this little trail right here. Right through there. I haven't cleaned it up or cut it up or anything. It's just been like that. It's stayed like that. I don't know if anybody remembers the Hobbit hole from a couple of years ago, but that's how I used to get back there to the Hobbit hole. But yeah, I've seen all kinds of animals, anything from turkey and deer, coons, possums, armadillos, birds, all kinds of pretty blue jays and everything. Coyote, bobcat, all kinds of stuff come through here. I even had a power company guy that was redoing that power pole back there, and he went back there and used it for bathrooms. So I guess he didn't see the camera right. He went on the other side of the camera, thank goodness. There's all kinds of stuff. That's like I said, I haven't cleaned it up. It's just stayed that clean because there's that much stuff come through. Not a lot, mind you, but you know, a good variety of stuff. But we'll see what we got.